Hey everybody, and welcome to another Bree Book Reviews video. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to be kind of ranting and fangirling over some anime that I've been watching recently. So the first anime that really got me binging here in the last few weeks that I was just like, I need to finish this, was Arslan Senki. So I purchased volume 4 that I showed you in my last manga haul, and I was like, I really should just catch up with the anime because I have not been in a reading mood. I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, but as far as picking up a physical copy and sitting down and reading it, I have not had the patience for it recently. So I was like, you know what? I'll just catch up via anime and then read the manga later. I was in episode 5 or 6 of the season, and there's 26 episodes of season 1, and so I went ahead and watched a few more, and after 3 or 4 episodes I was hooked. I could not watch anything else. I was off the very next day, completely watched 16 episodes in a row, completed season 1, had the biggest anime hangover after that. I was like, what do I watch now? I really wanted to watch a historical piece after that. If you're not familiar about what Arslan Senki is about, I've mentioned it multiple times. I'll go over it again really quick though. It is about a prince named Arslan. His country is kind of at war with another country, and he goes into battle for the first time. Some of the people on his side betray the kingdom, and they end up getting overrun by the other side. He escapes with pretty much just one other person, and it's about his journey from there, collecting comrades to help take back his kingdom. What I really, really like about this is the thing that I ultimately like about historical fiction, and that is the politics that are involved. It's so great. Arslan, although he's only 14, is so intelligent, not to mention that he has incredibly smart advisors. Everybody that seems to be drawn to him has a job and is good at something. So he has the warrior, the mathematician, strategist guy. Arslan himself is a very intelligent thinker, and he always takes everything into consideration before he makes a decision, and it's really helping him. By the end of season 1, the end of season 1 was so good. Okay, so I know there's a season 2. It's 8 episodes long. It was not on Hulu, okay? I like to pay for my stuff, so if it's not on Hulu, it's not on Crunchyroll or Netflix. If it's not on one of those 3, I will usually just wait. So I'm gonna wait for season 2. I know that the story continues slightly. I'm really interested in finding out what happens with his relationship. What's that character's name? I don't want to reveal any spoilers, but he meets a slave in the beginning of the season, and from the country that they're at war with, and they kind of develop a friendship, and the slave doesn't really know who he is, the entire time. The slave doesn't know that he's the prince, and so it's kind of funny how their relationship develops and how their friendship develops. I'm very interested to see how that continues. We discovered some things about that character, and it kind of puts things into different perspective. So if you've watched it before or read it before, you know what I'm talking about, and so I'm just super excited to see where that goes. Plus the woman in me is romance. That's the one element missing from this show, is the romance, and I've already started pairing people myself together. So after binging that, I was like, what the hell do I watch now? So I went ahead and I binged all of the episodes of Orange that are currently out, which are 11 episodes. Orange is a very interesting anime. It is basically about this girl who receives a letter from herself from 10 years in the future, and it is basically telling her that this boy that comes to school will become one of her very, very best friends, but he is destined to die by committing suicide, and so it is kind of up to her in the past to use this letter. This letter has detailed information of their interactions between each other. The her from 10 years ago is this happened this day, you should do this instead. I always regret not doing this. This is what you should do. It may change. So she takes it upon herself to use the letter to change history so that this boy does not feel the need to commit suicide in the future. Trigger warning, obviously, it's about suicide, so if you have issues with that kind of topic, I would not suggest this story. It is a shoujo romance at the same time, so it's very endearing, very sweet. It obviously has its sad moments. I am enjoying this. I actually went ahead and Crunchyroll, if you are a premium member, you can read the manga that they have on their website. So through Crunchyroll's manga app, I actually did finish reading Orange because it's on there. And so I've already completed the story because I think there's really only going to be 1 or 2 more episodes from where it's at right now. The story is coming to a conclusion very, very soon. And so I kind of wanted to know ahead of time what was going to happen. I was planning on purchasing this manga, but I probably will not. Seen the story and read the story. It's not something I think I will be planning on rereading in the future, so I don't think I want to add it to my collection, or at least not anytime soon. After that, I did watch another. This one was like a darker toned thriller anime. It is called Erase. This anime was fantastic. If you guys like murder mysteries and like things that keep you on edge and keep you guessing every single episode, I would highly recommend watching Erased. It is a very short anime. It's only like 13 episodes or something like that. And every single episode I was like, oh my god, I need to know what happens. I need to know what happens. And I binged the crap out of that anime like immediately. It is about this guy who has this ability to rewind back, but he really can only do it like max 10 minutes or something like that. He's never been able to go really any further than that. He uses it to kind of like help people. So in the beginning, for example, he saves this girl from getting run over by a car, but and I don't really want to spoil anything, but right at the end of episode 1, something traumatizing happens. I think like mentally causes him to like his powers to go haywire. He goes back in time to when he's in elementary school, and it kind of transports his mind into his current body at that time, so his adult mind gets put back into his elementary 10-year-old body. His powers have always had like a reason for doing it. There's always like some kind of tragedy that's about to happen that causes him to go back in time, and he knows this. So as soon as it happens where he goes back so far in the past, he's like, okay, what is it about this point in time that is related to what just happened? It's so cool. It's so cool, you guys. This traumatizing thing that happened that caused him to go back is related, he finds out, is related to a series of kidnappings and murders that were happening when he was a young small boy. A few of the girls in his school were getting kidnapped and killed, and he finds out that they are correlated to what happened to him in the future, and so he makes it his mission to change the past since he knows what happened in order to, make sure that these girls end up living. Kind of like the Orange thing, wherein like they have information from the future to change the past so that it doesn't happen, except Orange is, all more fluffier, and Erased is definitely a very, very dark anime. It does have trigger topics: murder, child abuse, pedophilia, stuff like that. So if you are triggered by those subjects, you probably wouldn't like this anime. But if you really want to watch something more on the darker side that keeps you like guessing every single episode, watch that show. The last one I want to talk about that I am obsessed, and that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So after Erased and after watching some Yona of the Dawn, I was like, really need something with a darker tone. I've been turned off by JoJo for a really long time because the animation to me, I'm a very visual person when it comes to my anime. I do prefer nicer artwork. It's really nice artwork. I can't really explain what it is that always turned me off about it. It's probably all the guys with like the humongous muscles on muscles type of like, it's like one of those like manly seinen, and it totally is like a man show, if that's what you could call it. But I love it. I love it so much, and it has a really interesting story plot to it. Been binging that as well, and I am now currently on part 3, which I believe is the Stardust Crusades with Jotaro Kujo, and I've only been watching it for like maybe max 2 weeks, so I've been binging that like crazy. It is so good. What I like about it the most is the fact that it follows one family. If you would have asked me before I started the anime what I thought that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was about, I probably would have said, oh, it's probably some seinen battle anime that really has no plot to it. It's just like people fighting, weird things happening because of the animation, and like the way that they dress just made me think that there was really no plot to it. If it's intrigued you, but you're worried because it looks weird to you, because that's how I thought about it at first, but trust me, it's really good. So JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is about the Joestar family, and we start off in the late 1800s with Jonathan Joestar. His family is like a rich family. In the beginning of the series, Jonathan is just a baby. Carriage crashes or something, and his mother ends up passing away, and these poor folk come and help them. Really, they were just there to like rob them, thinking that everyone was dead. The dad woke up and was like, oh, you helped me. I will do anything for you. This poor family later on, they have a son of their own. His name is Dio. Basically, it kind of shows them growing up simultaneously and how different their lives were. We have Jonathan, who's part of this like really rich family. He grows up living in a giant mansion with servants. And then you have Dio, who lives in this like little shack of a home with a drunkard of a father who he basically hates. And so eventually Dio's father dies, and to show thanks, Jonathan's father takes Dio as an adoptive son, and so Dio goes to live with the Joestars. Dio hates the Joestars, and that is one of like the irritating things I have about Dio, is this like, I mean, I get it. He's just supposed to be like this really evil character. I get it. He grew up in a really like poor home. He was abused, I'm sure. He just wants what the Joestars have, but they are like helping him. They took him as a son, and like he lives the way that Jonathan lives now, and I don't understand how it is that he just hates Jonathan so much that he just wants to destroy his life. And so that he makes it his mission to like destroy Jonathan by being this like super awesome son in front of Jonathan's father, and then when Jonathan's father's not looking, he's like the biggest asshole. I'm going to talk about some spoilers here. They're not major, but they're very minor, but it really bothered me. I absolutely could not stand when Dio killed Jonathan's dog. I'm a huge animal person, and I was like, and you know, Dio's done so many shitty things, and that's like the one thing that sticks to my brain. The one thing that I always remember that he did over anything else. Anything else. I love that show. I really do. Like I said, it follows the Joestar family, so after Arc 1, which is Phantom Blood with Jonathan, when you get to Season 2, essentially, it is about Joseph Joestar, who is Jonathan's grandson. Each season, you're seeing a new generation of that family, and you also follow, like, the timeline. So Jonathan is in the late 1800s, and then Joseph, I can't remember what year he is. And then the season that I'm in right now, which is the Stardust Crusades with Jotaro, I think we're in the 80s at this point, the 1980s. Very, very manly battle scenes, but I love it. And just like the craziest, weirdest things, which I'm sure is why it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because there, trust me, are a lot of bizarre things that happen, and it's just crazy. Honestly, this video is getting way too long, and I could really do a whole entire video all about JoJo. Obviously, I recommend it. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the anime that I've been currently watching. What anime are you guys watching? Please let me know what your recommendations are. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below, and I will see you guys next time.